Hi guys, we have a lot to talk about today, so I won't delay any further. But before we do, I just want to let you know that I have a bit of a stuffy nose, so I apologize. But the show must go on, and I want to talk about this Tamarinne's letter fiasco or this kind of thing that's going on. So without further ado, let's get into it. So if you didn't already see, there was a teaser for the Tamarinne letter pack limited sale, which is essentially just a pack for people to purchase. It has rewards here, and although it may look something similar to that of like an epic battle pass or a battle pass in general, this is not the case, as this is something of a more premium purchase only, with there being rewards that are free. However, there also being gates, or basically benchmarks that you have to reach before you can unlock certain resources beyond that. So for in this case, after you have the 100 sky stones, that then enables you the ability to buy the 1500 sky stone reward, and so on and so forth. Now, plain and simple, the reason why I'm talking about this is because as you can see here, these are two undescribed or prior to today, they weren't talked about price points for basically a skin and some summons. And just to be clear, though these are a lot of summons, and although this is a skin, the price is quite shocking. Now, before we get into it, I do want to say that the idea behind changing the cost of skins from exclusively sky stones to now include dollar amounts only is not necessarily something that is like foreign or has never been done before, as they've recently done that for the epic battle pass. However, this specific iteration where you have to buy things in order and you can't just pick and choose what you want to purchase from this list, already straight off the bat for me is a bit questionable. Like, for what you're seeing right now, roughly what you're looking at is 1600 sky stones, and whatever the price of this is, in addition to whatever the actual cost of the battle pass, or of the Tamarinne's letter skin is, if you want to purchase or have access to the new Tamarinne, cosmetic. Now, I'm not even going to sugarcoat it, though this is a bit ridiculous, though this is, I should say, a bit, I guess, free to play unfriendly. I get it. They need to make more money for skins, or they're trying to make more money through skins. And me personally, if it's for the purpose of making more skins in the future, the idea behind pricing skins for dollar amounts or for real money, not trying to sell it through sky stones, is kind of the trend across most gacha games. And it's actually prior to this, it was very generous of Smilegate even before this to even give you access to skins through sky stone methods. However, in recent times, again, as I mentioned earlier, that hasn't been the case, and they've changed it. With this now, you're seeing on screen the prices that they revealed. Now, if you just want to do the math on it very quickly, 1600 sky stones plus the $10 plus the $50 price point, you're looking at something like $70 or $80 worth of cost in order for you to get one skin. And that's like regardless if you wanted the 20 bookmarks, that's regardless if you wanted the 10 of these summon tickets, regardless if you wanted this background or not, it's going to cost you quite a bit to purchase the skin. Now, if this was the only concern that people had about the skin, the fact that it's kind of expensive, then I would say, okay, you know what? Honestly, I get it. It's a bit overpriced, and they should work on that in the future. But talking about monetary value of things is a bit ridiculous, just because, it's like a never-ending push and pull. Company wants to make money, and consumers would love it if everything was free. It's a tough balance to kind of adjust and get correct. However, what I want to bring your attention to actually is the detail of Tamarinne's letter, and in regard to this specific background. Now, the thing about this background is that this is not the first time that we've even seen a background quite like this. In fact, if I skip back to here for a moment, if you decide to, say for instance, change your lobby setting background to the Einzel gown or the Overlord background, you can see that depending on how many of the characters you own, the lobby itself changes. Now, I do want to say, for what it's worth, the details that you're missing right now or missing from this are not insane. And furthermore, if you're someone that, let's say, decided to get the the Espa one, there's a few changes here, but truth be told, it's not that insane. Like, you have them, you know, I guess like talking to each other or like hanging out or whatnot, and that's totally fine. However, the thing that's getting people a bit concerned is that if you take a look at the change right now, or if you take a look at what's being discussed here, once you purchase this, it says that you have to have all of these characters for their angelic melody and soul-stirring performance. Now, you might be wondering what the hell I'm talking about. However, if you take a look at the trailer for the skin itself, at some point you see that they actually start playing. There's like the amp animation, and they start hanging out, and everyone's kind of going, jamming, and it's a very, honestly, a pretty good looking illustration, all things considered. However, something that people were seeing and noting was that if you don't have all the characters, the amp doesn't move, and furthermore, like, you know, it also says we're all waiting for you to get the skin, and so obviously Tamarinne is not there. Now, to be honest, I get it. This is a detail that is very hidden. However, if you've bought the other skins in the past, this is kind of something that people already, I don't want to say it's a status quo, but it was something that people were already technically aware of. However, it feels very bad that, unlike in the other skins that I just showed you prior, there, you know, like, look at this. There isn't a specific or a special animation to go alongside this, and for that, or as insane or as noticeable of a special effect, and for this, I think that there's something that we have to be a bit careful about, which is the fact that if you were going to FOMO everyone into having every single unit or having all the characters for this purpose so that you can sell an illustration, then this becomes even like a bit more uncomfortable feeling, just because it's not even necessarily that you're spending $50 to get the skin. It's you're spending $50 alongside the 10, alongside the 1600 Skystones, alongside whatever rewards that you need to have, so that something like the battle or, like, you know, the illustration has even better value. Now, again, to be clear, if you're looking at it from this POV, this is kind of just a whatever illustration. Literally nothing is happening right now, and all you're seeing is just, I guess, them tuning their instruments, which is fine. However, for the price point that you're seeing here, if you're going to be spending something like $80 for the illustration, if you're spending it for the weapon, which, by the way, is probably going to low roll, but it is what it is. If I'm not mistaken, that's the way it works anyways. But if it's a rollable weapon, it's not like a guaranteed substat, which I don't believe it is. All of this for $80 is a bit crazy, to be honest. Now, again, I understand that the price point is going to be something that a lot of people argue about. However, I think that already, beyond the price itself, locking people behind having to purchase everything in between up until the price point of a skin already doesn't feel very pleasant. It feels quite annoying, in fact, because what if I don't want the leaves? What if I don't want the background? What if I don't want the summons and I just want the Tamarinne skin? Like, I'm someone that has, like, most of the characters in the game now. I don't need this. If possible, I'd love to have saved myself $10 just for the sake of this and be on with my day. However, that's not the case. And furthermore, at least from what I can tell here, if you don't have these characters, like if you don't have Maid Chloe, if you don't have Laia, like a limited and an ML5, like the animation doesn't play, and neither does, like, you know, or like technically speaking, you're losing value on things, which looks ridiculous. Now, as far as I can tell, this is the way that things are currently placed. They may change things in the future. However, I just thought it worth talking about because it feels very unusual or weird for not just the lobby, but like the pricing of the skin and this pack in general to be phrased or kind of put this way. And I'm honestly kind of shocked that they decided to deliver it in this way specifically, especially when there's like a lot of hype being generated for like an Origins teaser coming out tomorrow for epicseven, or for 2 days from now, whatever it is, Friday or Saturday or something. I don't know. Whatever the case is, I'm just kind of weirded out. I'm not necessarily, I wouldn't say I'm angry at Smilegate for this, but I would just say disappointed that they decided to format everything this specific way. The pricing was this specific way. Like, if I'm not mistaken, even the way like that they described like the animations or the way that they talk about things is like it's like a single bottom look, like you're looking at all the, oh, look at all these animations, and then there's like a little brief text, not bolded or anything, that says like the amp button, will only be activated when you collect all the heroes and skins. Like when all the advertising for it, like these two big animations is like all of them all together. Like you have the animation of this here, like with all of them together. And then there's like a footnote saying like, hey, just as a heads up, don't worry. Like if you want the amp, you got to get everything. It just, I don't know. It feels a little weird. By the way, this is the weapon, but I'm assuming you have to roll it. You're going to have to roll it. Presumably. I don't know, unless if something changes. However, before I end today's video, I do also want to kind of talk about one other thing that I meant to talk about last week, but again, I've been a little bit sick. Recently, Smallgate also closed down E7 Vault, which is, or they, like the E7 Vault owner had like a cease and desist, if I'm not mistaken. Or there was like an official complaint received from the email or from this email address, which basically shut down a model viewer and a portrait viewer site. Now, I know a lot of you guys, for the most part, probably don't know what the site is, or maybe you're not familiar with it, or you don't care. Whatever the case is, I just wanted to say it's very unfortunate that this shut down. Myself, alongside other creators, have been using this site for like high quality images for thumbnails, and I know that there are a lot of artists that use this for references or to use it for fan art. And this being shut down is very unfortunate because as of now, or because of this, if I ever want a high quality image, I have nowhere to go. Basically, I have to like look through the YouTube video and just pray it doesn't look bad. And just for reference, by the way, let's say you wanted to like say get like or like use official art or like use their own stove site sometimes for art. This is what you have to work with sometimes. Like, you know what I mean? Whatever. It's just a random side note, but rest in peace to E7 Vault. I get why it got cease and desisted. There were some things on it that they probably didn't want. However, I wish there were, in replacement of this, I had hoped that Smallgate would put out something similar, or would at least be a bit more consistent with their art quality. Whatever. In any case, I just think everything that's been going on with epicseven recently has been crazy. Hopefully the Origin announcement, I don't know, turns everything on its head, but right now, not a good look, epicseven. But who knows? Who cares? I guess Origins will change things and we'll see what happens. Anyways, that's going to be it for today's video, though, guys. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Stay safe, stay healthy. Stay safe, stay healthy. Good night, everyone. Goodbye.